Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be continuing reading throughout the Action Bible. So, we're obviously dealing with Solomon now, so now we're going to be reading a story called Foreign Fame. Now, this is based on 1 Kings chapter 10, verse 1 through 11 of chapter 8. So, or chapter 11, verse 8, sorry. This is Solomon's fame spreads far and wide, even to Queen Sheba. Because he's becoming very wealthy. He's building a very beautiful and glorious city. He's even had a fleet by now. So, now obviously helping people with his great wisdom, just like that woman, them two women and that baby. So, this spreads to her. So she says, Solomon, all I hear are tales of his wealth and wisdom. I'm going to Jerusalem to find out for myself whether the stories are true. The queen sets out in a huge caravan. She has many camels loaded with wealth, precious spices, piles of gold, and many precious stones. Finally, her procession catches sight of Jerusalem. What a beautiful city! It sits on a hill like a glistening crown. So, Solomon gives the queen a royal welcome. She is awestruck by the luxury of the king's palace, but she quickly tries to test his wisdom with a riddle. What is the most certain thing in the world and the most uncertain thing? And Solomon, says back, the most certain thing in this world is death, but the most uncertain is our share in the world to come. That is very powerful. That was a very good one. The most certain thing in the world is death. We're all going to die. We will all die and leave this world. But the most uncertain thing is a share in the world to come. Our share, our works, in the world to come. What would we have done to work towards that? Even if you are saved, because there's only two places to go. You're going to heaven or hell. If you are saved by Jesus, and his blood is washed over you, now God can see you. Now you will enter into, you keep his commandments, you will enter into the kingdom of heaven. But what have you done? What truly have you done? If Jesus was to come back today, think about what have you done for God? What have you done for that kingdom in heaven? What have you worked for? Have you been so shy? Have you never said anything or never spread the gospel or never gave even $5 for tithe or anything? So, these are your, the things to ask for. These are ask yourself, what have I done? What can I do? Impressed with his answer, the Queen Sheba continues to ask Solomon the hardest riddles in the land. He successfully answers all of her puzzles, then takes her for a tour of the city. Solomon shows her the beautiful temple of God and the giant marble palaces, and he displays his thousands of fine horses and chariots. Jerusalem has outgrown its old walls of defense. We're building new ones. That foreman seems to know what he is doing. You're very observant. That is Jeroboam, my chief labor foreman. When her curiosity is satisfied, the Queen of Sheba presents Solomon with gifts of gold, rare spices, and precious stones. Then she leaves for home, impressed with his wisdom and wealth. But whereas Solomon had once used his wisdom to help God's people, now he uses it to impress foreign leaders and to gain even more honor and fame. So, the reason of this wisdom was to help the people of God, was to help Jerusalem, things like that. It was not to, it was to help just like how we saw that was a horrible crime with that lady and the baby, and he used his wisdom to solve the problem. Well, instead, now he's doing it to impress other, queens and kings, and, he's using it to gain more fame, and, yeah, now he's kind of feeling full of himself, like, yeah, look at me, I'm the wisest guy. So, Solomon continues to build, but now the people are worried and shocked by what they see. Another temple to an idol of one of the king's foreign wives. He uses our taxes to build it. Those heathen temples proven that Solomon is no longer asking God for guidance. There is trouble ahead for Israel. So now the people are worried. one of Solomon's wives are foreign, and obviously, not everybody, uh, you know, uh, worships the one true God. You know, they one of these this one specifically is a golden calf. Is something that we saw even with Aaron and Moses and them, and obviously there's Dagon, with Samson and all. They worship these idols and these false gods. So this is another false god. He builds it to please his wife so she can have, but that's taking away. It is the same scenario. Like, let's just say, I'm going to use this as an example. Even the homosexuality. You could be a Christian and all this stuff, but you're gonna sit there and be like, oh well, I support you, and you do what you want. I'm still gonna, I still support you, and blah blah blah. And basically making out like it's okay. You still support them. People try to label even Christians as hypocrites and things as far as that nature, due to the nature of almost it seeming as judging people. Now some do. I'm not gonna argue that some are very judgy, and that the judgment is God's. But it is not about the hate towards the person. Because God says, you should love thy neighbor. It is the hate towards the sin. You cannot have your foot on both worlds. You cannot agree with that and then still be a Christian and still be supporting this and teaching this or whatever. No, 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 no. Just like this golden calf, he should not have built that. He serves God and God alone. That idol, he knows that idol is fake, it's false. He should not be trying to please his wife with it. He should be trying to guide her to the one true God. And that's something you could explain even with homosexuality. You don't have to hate the person. Don't hate the person. God says we should love everybody. There's no reason to be a jerk or anything to them. Be kind and things like that. But you don't have to respect or agree with what they're doing, because they are sinning. They are sinful. There is no doubt about it. God created man and woman. God says that man shall cling from his parents and shall move on from his parents and cling to his wife, not his husband, or not the wife to another wife. No, the husband, a man shall cling to his wife, to a woman. Man of man's an abomination. This is stuff you can't, and that goes with any sin. That goes with many of the sins, all the commandments, everything that Jesus had taught us and stuff like that. You cannot have your foot in both worlds. You either offend God or you offend the world, but you cannot have both. And that is something to keep in mind. That is something that you have to look out for. With many sins, with many idolized objects or things or people or whatever, to God is the glory, and he's the one that you kneel before, and he has told us what is right and wrong, in his holy Bible. So, focus on what those are. Love everybody. It's fine to have that brotherly love towards everybody and to be kind to people. There's nothing wrong with that. God says we should be like that. But don't agree with what their sin is. If they don't like that, then, that's on them. But we need to maybe even help them, teach them, try to spread the gospel towards them, to help change it. I've seen many people that have fallen so far, and they were so corrupt, and they had changed and came to God, and they were made beautiful, and they were made whole. So God bless. Hopefully you guys learned something new. As always, take it easy, and I'll catch you guys next week.